Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is the second part of the modern family mansion that I built. The first part is up on my channel already, so go check that out if you haven't already. And this is the upstairs and the outside and landscaping speed build. So I'll go through what I did. It's a speed build of everything that I furnished, and then there'll be a quick tour at the end with my sim self in the house. So I'm really happy with it. It's actually been really incredibly well received on the gallery. I think it's up to about 85 downloads or something now, which is huge compared to what I've ever had before. So I'm really grateful for that. And we'll jump right into it. I just changed the floor plan upstairs, which I did mention in my previous video, because before I wanted to make the rooms obviously as big as possible, but then the bathroom was disconnected from the hallway, and there are about 4 different bedrooms that would need to use that bathroom. So I didn't want you to have to walk through a bedroom into the bathroom, because that would just be really inconvenient when people are sleeping or whatever. So I moved that all around, and then I started creating this first bedroom, which I really like the outcome of, but I royally mucked up because I forgot that there was a balcony outside and that I needed to add doors to it. So I didn't want to refurnish the whole thing, so I do end up deleting the balcony, which I think turns out pretty well anyway, so I'm quite happy with it. There are 6 bedrooms in this house, so this room that I'm currently furnishing I think would work quite well as a guest bedroom. So if you wanted to have a sleepover, or if I think you've got groups and get together, that could work quite well. And it's just quite minimalist, it's quite bright and airy, but it's still got those sort of black features. And I really quite liked the dark grey wood, and it works quite well with all of the dresser and the bedside tables and things, and I thought it ended up quite nice. Because the main colour scheme of this house is a white and black one, I did want to add some colour, so that's where the blue wallpaper comes in to try and do that. It's quite a dark colour, which I'm not sure many houses do have such dark walls, but I thought it worked well with the different rugs that come in the game, which that rug with that pattern is my favourite. And I think a lot of people use it just because it's got so many different swatches that work really well with rooms. So you can use the same rug in different colours around a build and it doesn't look repetitive. So that's definitely one that I use a lot. And while I was furnishing the kids' room, I didn't realise that it wasn't filming. So that's why it sort of skipped forward. But it's got everything a kid could need in there. It's got stuff for your toddlers and for crafting and all the different skills that the children would want to improve on. And I've tried to make it really busy. I like the use of those circle rugs. They're not ones that I usually use, but I think with the carpet on the floor, they work quite well to bring in some colour. And I just thought that the wallpaper was also really fun. But it's sort of a kid's room that the downstairs is used for entertaining. It's quite classic in its design and quite modern as well. And so I thought having a really fun kids' room up the top where they could go play as you were entertaining people, and all the children's stuff was sort of out the way and not cluttering up downstairs. I thought that worked really quite nicely. So it's really busy. There's a table there for your children to do their homework on, that sort of thing. So this video is a little bit later than I thought I would put it out. I did want to do it a few days ago, but I completely lost my voice. I've been quite ill. I'm still fairly croaky, but I thought I wanted to get this video done before the weekend. And I just finished my next house that I want to speed build of, which is again completely different to this one and to the first build that I did. So do stay tuned for that one. But yeah, a lot has happened in the last few days while I've been resting up. We've got stricter lockdown measures in the UK. So I'm in the south, so I wasn't in any of the local lockdowns, which have mainly occurred up north. But we now have a curfew of 10 p.m. So the pub that I work at the moment is now shutting at 9:30, which is insane. I mean, apart from when they were closed, pubs shutting at 9:30 is really unheard of. So I now have a lot more time after I finish my shifts in the evening to play Sims and to watch streams and do all of that. So hopefully there will be even more content coming. Do let me know in the comments or on my Twitter, which is linked down below, what you'd like to see, if you would like any houses built specifically for the packs that you might have, or for a family you're building or making, or if there are any challenges you want. I was thinking I might do a shell challenge next, after the next house that I've produced, so do give me any recommendations for that. I was wondering if I wanted to do Kate Emerald's old shell challenge, because it's got really cool terrain and it looks really, really difficult, and I love giving myself a challenge. So I might do that, but it's quite large, so we'll see. But yeah, let me know if there are any recommendations you have for anything you want to see. I also, a few days ago, hit 5,000 hours in The Sims 4, which is a hell of a long time, but I'm not even sure how it happened. I mean, I think I got the game probably on its release date in 2014. I was so excited for it. So I have been playing for a good long while, but 5,000 hours is just an insane amount. Considering I'm not a professional player by any means, it's just been for fun. At the moment, I just see so much negativity for the game, which I really don't understand, because it's given me so much fun over the years. It's been my escape. It's been sort of what I've always turned to. I've lived in so many different houses since it came out. I've gone through 3 years of university, and it's just always, it's sort of the thing that's always been there for me, that's always a constant. And now that I'm in the Twitter community and I'm looking at everyone else's views of the game, I just think the game needs so much more appreciation than we give it. It's people's livelihoods at this rate, which so many, I mean, there's Fortnite and all these other games, but it's so rare that you can get so many hours of just pure fun and engagement and creativity out of it. And I fully accept that 5,000 hours is 5,000 hours too many for the skin tones that we have. But after yesterday's announcement of how they're going to update them, I'm so impressed by how they've taken our criticisms and our very, very justified concerns about the ashy tones and the darker skin tones and how there wasn't enough representation. And if you didn't see the announcement yesterday, by December, we're going to have an update which will, they say, introduce over 100 different skin tones and a skin tone slider and a makeup slider. So that should hopefully really improve how makeup and skin tones look for darker Sims. And I think that will help with people being able to play themselves. It sounds like they're using the modding community. I will link that blog post down below as well. But so many people have changed the game for the better through mods, which the Sims shouldn't have relied on in the first place, or they didn't rely on it, but they shouldn't have overlooked the issue in the first place. But they've been really helping people for the last sort of 5 years or something to play themselves. And that's great, but it's lovely that they're using people's external knowledge to really make sure that they do it right. So I think they're really dedicated to the skins, and with that, it just makes me so much more excited for the game, because the main criticism that's 100% justified is being sorted out, and it is late, but it is happening. So that's really exciting. So the rest of the game, it's not perfect, but it's a video game and you can just do so much with it. And I've had so much fun and I've been so creative. I've learned so much about computing and gaming, and now with the community and how all of that works. So I just think we need a lot more appreciation for what the game does give us. And I'm really excited for the future, because with the skin tone announcement coming out, we now might have an expansion pack announcement. So let me know in the comments what you want that to be, what you think our next expansion pack might be. We've sort of covered all of the main bases that we would want in Sims games, so I'm not really sure where it's going to go next. We know that we're not getting a farming pack. I have very differing views to most people on what I want to see, so I might do a video on that later. Do ask if you want to know what my opinions are, because I'm very differing to what most people say. But yeah, I'm really excited. That should be probably coming in the next few weeks, so very exciting times. I just rambled on and on, but you just saw me furnish the third or fourth bedroom up there with the balcony, and I absolutely love that balcony. It's got the sort of fire table as well in there. It would be really nice to sit out on a starry night. But also during lockdown, I actually really got into yoga, so I didn't want to do loads of heavy exercise while I was still doing my degree, and it was such an anxious time as well. So I got into yoga, and I do that every morning on my balcony in the sunshine. So I thought I'd add that in. As I said last video, I didn't want to roof that section anyway, so it worked really well as a balcony. And I think that would probably be a really nice teens room once they've grown out of this kids' bedroom that I'm making at the moment. They can go there and have that as their room, and maybe use that to have their friends around, or a guy that they might fancy, or a girl, or something like that. Could be really fun. And this is the kids' bedroom. Like usual, I've tried to make it as fully packed out as it can be. I was experimenting with different rugs and with different floorings. I quite like this flooring, but it was just too busy with the rug on top, so I changed it. But yeah, it's got loads of different things. I cluttered it up, and it might not be to everyone's taste because there are so many clutter items in there, but I think it just looks so much more realistic because as a child I never ever had a tidy room. I never made my bed. Everything was strewn on the floor. I wouldn't pick up all of my toys that I'd been playing with. My parents absolutely hated it, as they would have done, but I think the kids' rooms I make in the Sims really reflect that. So now jumping out to outside, this is a huge patio. I thought for the size of the house, I really needed to make something grand outside as well. So I wanted a fun looking pool. I opted for putting the patio stuff hot tub, and I think it works really nicely with that wraparound pool as well, so it sort of all looks integrated. I also, being now on Twitter, saw that someone had made a website about which stuff packs are the best and the worst, and they put Perfect Patio Stuff as one of the worst stuff packs. And I'm horrified by this because in every single build there will be that pack. It's an essential for me to build. I don't know how you could get any nice outdoor spaces without this pack. And especially we just bought rattan furniture for our balcony, so it goes on to that because that's what these sofas and chairs are. They're a rattan sort of wicker style, and there are so many good colour swatches for it all. You can use it for old builds, for new builds, inside, outside. It's the best stuff pack. And up until probably about April this year, I've only had that stuff pack. I never saw the point of stuff packs because they were just money for a few items. I'm now obviously getting more into it as I'm more into building, but I could not believe that someone put that as the worst stuff pack. It's amazing. You should all buy it. It's an absolute necessity. If you're ever going to download any of my houses, it's pretty much guaranteed to have Perfect Patio Stuff in it. And it's just incomprehensible why you wouldn't have it. I really went to town with the landscaping of this property because I was sort of in the mood for it anyway, but I just thought it really needed it to look really busy and manicured, and they'd probably have a gardener or something to help them with all their hedges and things like that. But especially at the front, which you'll see in a bit, I just put hundreds of plants in. I'm really happy with how it turned out, but when I was playing The Sims 3, I had no idea how to landscape. I could build these crazy houses that always looked completely unrealistic but looked really fun, and they would have not even a single plant outside because I had no idea how to do it. And I think it's helped by the move objects cheat, because I think it's really difficult to landscape without that on because you don't get enough depth to it. But things like this is actually a tip that I picked up from Lil Simsy's builds. She loves putting these, I think they might be base game or maybe outdoor retreat, but these plants as sort of a wall and then planting trees and things inside it. So that's what I did for this. I've cut this down because, as I said, I spent ages landscaping it, putting all of those plants in. It's really dense and packed out. If you do decide to play with this house and your computer lags a bit, I think these would be the first things that you should remove, because I think the more plants you have, the harder it is for the game to work properly. And that's definitely true if you are suffering with lag. I did on my previous laptop, which is why I bought a new one. But if you are suffering with lag, if you have lots of gardening plants that your Sims can harvest from and things, that apparently really increases lag because it's difficult for the game to process. So that's probably the first thing that you should delete if one of your houses is really busy. And I just added stones all around to make it look really full and busy and as lifelike as possible, I guess. I don't have a lot of landscaping in my flat, but that's sort of what I would imagine landscaping to do, to have a bit of dirt on the bottom and a bit of rocks and undergrowth to all be dispersed within. So I'm back working on the patio. I added a bar area that I thought that sort of did a pool party vibe really well. And then I decided that I also wanted a bit of an outdoor dining area. So you could have dinner parties inside or outside this house. I think it would kind of be perfect for a sim with a party animal aspiration, if they've got to do loads of dinner parties, if they want to meet lots of people, and also if you've got children that are social butterflies. I think that would work really well. You could have children around and children or adults around. And I just remember when I was younger, my parents would always go to parties with their bosses' houses. So I would go as well and meet all the children of colleagues, all the colleagues' children, and have a great time. I remember at one of them, I was at a boss's mansion and it was the first time I got to ride a Segway, and for years after, that's all I wanted to do. Anytime we went to sort of a London park or abroad and they had Segway riding, that was the first thing I wanted to do. I still haven't yet, that's still on the bucket list, to go back and ride a Segway, but I absolutely loved it as a kid. So I've definitely got fond memories of being in massive mansions that I could never afford and having a great time while my parents were sort of having their meetings and things. So I'm just doing the finishing lighting touches to make it look great at night time. My Sims always seem to have completely mucked up sleep schedules and stay up way too late into the night. So I hate it when houses are too dark because then you can't see what they're doing. And you can make some really nice builds that look really awesome in the dark as well. So that's what I've tried to do with this one. And I think I'm just about finished now. I do go and change some things off camera, which I'll show you in the tour, because I was mucking around with debug and I found some items that I really wanted to use that fitted really well. And I just didn't think that a house this big wouldn't have a fence around it. So that was what I was originally going to do, and I was just going to leave it open. But with so much outside in this party space and all these kids' toys that I'm using, I just didn't think it was very realistic. So I did find a debug fence that I really liked, and it was my first time using it actually. So I didn't show it on camera, but I will go and show that tour at the end of this video. I'm of course still starting out with making videos, so please let me know if the speed build is too fast, because I think it's on about 8 times speed, maybe 6. So if that is too fast, do let me know in the comments, and we shall get into a little tour of the place. So this is it all finished. I added some vines from Debug. They're from the Discover University pack. This is all of the landscaping that I did. It's, as you can see, really full, quite a feature piece. I also added a little walkway with paving stones up to the front. So I think that ties it in nicely to the road because it was looking a bit detached before. And then we're gonna get into the build. I'm so pleased with how this turned out. Especially we've got the pops of colour in there. You've got the double doors to a master bedroom, a really cozy but open living space as well. So it's not huge, but you've got a fireplace to sit into. There's my sim self in the kitchen. And this is my favourite thing. It's a bit, when I filmed this, it was a bit cloudy in the game. So it doesn't quite showcase the skylight as it should, but it looks so good in the sunshine, and it's just so nice and open. And with those ultra graphics that I've got now, it worked just as I wanted it. So it's really bright, and you've got this entertainment space / study down, which I tried to integrate everything. So the downstairs floor plan is actually quite open with these arches, but you've definitely got different areas for different rooms. So there they can do their writing or their painting or music as well. I know a lot of people are calling for bands in The Sims as well, so we might be getting that. That could be pretty fun and a good room to have for that. And then you've got the master bedroom. It's so plush and grand, and I would absolutely love to have this room in real life. You've got a TV there, a reading space that looks out onto the garden, an ensuite bathroom as well, and plenty of place to sit. So it's just sort of a recluse from the rest of the family and how busy it might be. And if you've had a long day hosting parties or something, I think this room's really good for that. And now we're upstairs. So this is a 6-bedroom house, so there's lots of space. You've got all these views that I've tried to incorporate over the rest of the outside space, and the dark blue wall that I think works so well with that chandelier as well, which I love from Spa Day. And this is probably one of my favourite rooms. It's I would say probably a guest bedroom, and just with those grey wood tones and the black and the blue, I think it turned out really quite nicely. And we've got probably a teen room if they wanted to get into the wellness skill, or if they wanted to have like a hangout or their friends over from school. I think that works really nicely with this outdoor balcony, which I would absolutely love. Then you got the kids' room. As I said, this was really cluttered and it's got all the posters on the wall. I had so many posters when I was a child. I think I once counted that I had over like 120 different pictures on my walls. It was boy bands and horses and dogs and whatever else I was into at the time. So I love putting posters on the walls at the moment. Makes them look really interesting, and I think just real life, like so many people my age when we were children had posters on their walls. And this is the final bedroom, which I'm not even sure who you'd want it for. If you've got a huge house, this could be for maybe a grandparent or something with an ensuite. There's another computer in there if two people need the computer at once, if a child's practicing typing or something. And then the outside space. So this fence that's wrapping around is a debug item. I think it worked really nicely because it's quite subtle and very low. And you've got all your entertainment space, a lovely big pool. I found this statue on the left in debug as well. So I didn't really know if you'd ever use that in any other house other than this one. So I thought I'd put it in. I changed the placing of the basketball hoop so that it wasn't in the way so much and you couldn't really see it from the dining room. So I thought that worked nicely. And then I've just done a few little bits around the swings and the pirate ship, and this is the final garden area. So maybe a herb garden, or you can have lots of trees there if your sim is into gardening. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you like this house. I'm so glad how it's been received. It took absolutely hours, but I hope you like the finished product. Please leave a like and a comment down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It's on the gallery and I'm HeppiSims on there. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.